There is no allegation in this indictment that any American was a knowing participant in this illegal activity. There is no allegation in the indictment that the charged conduct altered the outcome of the 2016 election.
All right, it was that comment right there that reversed what had been almost a free fall in the Dow at the point we learned that Rod Rosenstein and those at the Justice Department, FBI, Bob Mueller, were coming up with this report that would finger at least 13 Russian individuals and another few Russian companies for mucking around in our election leading up to the 2016 presidential election, following it almost tick for tick, the movement. What are we to make of that and the relief by day's end in an essentially unchanged market that did not appear to be the case? John Lakefield, Ben Stein. John, what do you think?
I think it shouldn't have an effect. Historically, political scandals have had very little long-term effect on the markets. I think the markets right now are shaky. We've had such an incredible run-up that when the volatility happened 2 weeks ago and you set off so much program trading, I think people now are looking more closely at inflation numbers, retail sales numbers, and things like this, and putting, I think, a little too much gravitas on them.
You know, Ben, there is the thought that if it looks like even the administration is acknowledging that the Russians were indeed trying to screw around the election, but that American operatives did not. Is that the end of it as far as a concern, let's say, just for the markets?
I think it is going to be the end of it. Don't think there's going to be any Russia-Trump collusion found. I don't think there's going to be anything found that affected the results of the election. And I think the market is going to just stay at a fairly high level. And if we can keep inflation under control, I don't see any limit to the market going up. Economic conditions worldwide are as good as they've been, I hate to say this, since the late 20s. But we don't want to have any crashes like we had in the very late 20s, but I don't think political developments have much to do with it. I was there during Watergate, and Watergate was not what moved the stock market down. What moved the stock market down during the last days of Watergate was fears of inflation, right, which did come true.
So you think now the fact that stocks have retraced, been half the ground and then some, that's a good sign? You don't think we'll revisit any of the problems we just had? Near term.
Well, we can always revisit things, but I think over the long period, stocks are a wonderful investment. Stocks, look, Wall Street, in essence, is a miracle. It allows you to buy into the best companies in the world for a very, very small price, have the best managers in the world for a very small price, make yourself partner with people like Warren Buffett, my dear friend, for a very, very small price. I don't think there's a better bargain out there in the world than the stock market in the United States of America.
John, you know, a lot of people are saying after that topsy-turvy whirlwind and all these exotic investments that seem to, you know, bring us 2,000-point swings in the Dow within a couple of days, that they don't want any part of it now. They've been, not me, not me. What do you tell them?
Well, like, you look at what the market did in the 1990s with the internet bust. You look at what the market did in the 2008, and still you had a S&P that was around between 1 to 200 in 1980s, and it's up 10 times since then. The key is just to stay in the market. There's nothing has changed in the global economic environment. Ben is right. 75% of companies that reported so far in the S&P have beat on profits. 78% had beat on sales estimates. We had a market that got incredible volatility. When Ben talks about the 1920s, he's also right about Coolidge was one of the reasons the tax cuts under Coolidge helped spur that. We have a very similar environment right now with the tax cuts now. I think the market is set here to proceed further, but I still think there's going to be volatility.
All right, guys, I want to thank you very much on this breaking news day.